Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's hard to believe we're here already, but we are. I'm excited to talk about releasing the brakes today. I am Kylene with Rise, Shine, Smile, and I'm talking about gratitude every week. And we talk about how that's our superpower and how when we're appreciating what we do have, we get more of it, right? We start paying attention to all the amazing things in our life. So we're here every week talking about gratitude and then other little success principles that we can implement in our life, tools we can bring into our life to bring more joy, smiles, and happiness, all that good stuff. So that is who I am and what I'm all about. Hey, Mo, thanks for joining. Good afternoon to you. Hey, Jack, hope you are doing well. And hi, Tanya, thanks for joining today. I hope you're doing well. I'm excited to talk about this topic today. Well, before I jump into that, I should say what I'm thankful for. I'm really thankful for yoga. That yoga is a part of my life, and Thursdays are big days for me for yoga. I teach in the morning, and then I go and get to connect with the local studio, and we get to continue to practice our skills so we can learn even more to share with others. So I just got done with that and amazing experience. And so I'm really thankful for that opportunity that has come my way. I'm really appreciative of it. And so that kind of brings me to releasing the brakes. What is releasing the brakes? I have a special guest today. Erin is going to join me and we're going to talk about releasing the brakes because I think for so many of us, this is something that we can implement in our life. And it can be in all different areas of our life, but especially in that self-development and that trust of where you're going is the right direction, getting out of that comfort zone, all that good stuff. So Erin, if you would like to join me as we get started here.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I know this is a topic that you know a lot about, and we've talked about this before, maybe not with the title of releasing the brakes, but for you, what does release the brakes mean to you?
Well, as our mentor Jack Canfield kind of explains it, right? If you are out there and you are driving your car and you have the emergency brake on, you're not going to just press on the gas harder to get it to move forward, right? It's like, oh, it's stuck. My brake is on. So let me just work harder. Let me just, hustle and grind and just, willpower it out. Right. Yeah. We have to release the brakes. And to me, that's about finding that self-belief. That's about finding that ability to have a partnership. Right. One of the things I've really been spending a lot of time learning lately is about the reality of how we operate as humans, right? We think that we are in complete control of everything, but we all have emotions, I believe, right? And so we all have those moments where you're like, man, I didn't want to do that, right? My logic brain is going, what happened there, right? I feel like I lost control, and so it's that partnership between our logic brain, our conscious brain, and our subconscious and our feelings, right? And so that's what release the brakes means to me.
Yeah,
in a very long, drawn out way.
No, and I like that you shared the example too of, what if you don't just like push harder on the gas when your emergency brake is on. It just doesn't work right. It's a lot of extra force that you're having to put into something. And for me, release the brakes means just that, what you were saying, as well as, we stay in our comfort zone, right? We stay with that emergency brake on because it's safe there.
Yeah.
We're not going to get hurt there. We know what to expect. We know the outcome because we have this continuous loop and pattern of behavior, etc. So we stay there and we don't venture out of that comfort zone because it could be dangerous. It could, we could fail, we could be judged. We could have whatever fear shows up for you when you get outside that comfort zone. And so success really happens when you allow yourself to release the brakes a little bit. You slowly step out of that comfort zone. You slowly release off the brake and allow yourself to continue to move forward.
Can I share one thing about our comfort zone that
yeah,
I've heard this a whole bunch of times, but until you were just saying that, it didn't really kind of stand out to me in this way. So one of the things that when we talk about the comfort zone, we talk about getting outside of our comfort zone. We talk about, that, right. Facing fears and doing things that are a little bit uncomfortable for us. And even I'm trying to remember who said it, but it doesn't really matter. Somebody kind of said, we need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. But here's what actually happens. And this hopefully makes it less scary for me, is that when we talk about getting outside of our comfort zone, that doesn't mean that we just have to like bust through it and then we're just going to be dancing out there, and all these things, crazy fears are coming at us. What's actually happening is we're pushing against it and we're really just expanding it. Because once we do that thing, right? I mean, you're a perfect example of this, Kylene. I remember when your comfort zone had nowhere, shape, or form even saw the ability to do this live video thing. Right? Yeah. I mean, you told me that when I would push you to do this, that you would get physically ill, right?
Yeah, I would have a physical reaction inside of me.
But you took the small steps. You joined me a few times. You started doing some different things, right? And it became more comfortable. I don't imagine that it's like super comfortable for you all the time, but you show up every week and you share great information. And so it's now kind of in this new realm of your comfort zone. So your comfort zone doesn't like kind of stay like this, and then you're just supposed to operate outside of it. Your comfort zone's kind of like this, and then we need to kind of just get it to expand, and until everything that we want is within our grasp, right, and within the comfort that we have. So anyhow,
I think that's a really good point, because you're talking about how, okay, you survive this risk, you're outside your comfort zone here, but then that new zone, I think is what you're saying, becomes comfortable, right?
Yeah, it becomes your new comfort zone.
It's just a continuous way of growing and learning.
Yeah. So I guess when I was first thinking about this whole concept of I've got to get outside of my comfort zone, what really kind of turned me off about it was I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really, I enjoy being comfortable every once in a while, right? I understand the need to kind of push beyond that a little bit. But so I guess just changing that thought process from, it's not that we're saying get completely out of your comfort zone and just be uncomfortable all the time. We're saying expand it, make it larger. So.
Yeah, because we're capable of doing a lot of good things. And it's a good time to explore this when you are feeling restless inside, when you are having those feelings of, I know there's more for me, but I'm not doing it. I'm not allowing it. When you have those feelings inside, we may ignore them, but over time it builds up, and either you decide that this is where I'm at, but you have these dreams, they show up for you because your subconscious is saying, hey, we got to do this. And you're holding yourself back. So, those negative thoughts and the fear, and we've talked about fear a lot, both of us, giving up all those excuses that we make, all these images that we see, the worst case scenario always happening. But really, those are really important things to be aware of when it's happening. And so then you can make a conscious choice of how you move forward. What is your body trying to tell you? And then how can you move forward?
Yeah. Fear's only a yield sign. To me, fear is an indicator that you're doing something important and that you should, just show up with your best foot forward as opposed to, just kind of crushing through full speed ahead. Right. When fear shows up to me, it's a moment to go, okay, let me just make sure that I've thought of as much as I can, not everything. We can't ever think of everything, but thought of as much as I can. And then because sometimes also the fear is reminding us to break down that action into something smaller than your, again, your example is perfect in this case, something smaller from going from never wanting to be on social media on live video to, trying to make that jump from there to, I'm gonna be on every day, or I'm gonna be on every week. Right. That's impossible. Maybe somebody could pull it off, but man, I don't, that's why would you do that to yourself? Right. Whereas what could be the first thing that I do? Right. Maybe I do just a record video. Maybe I join a friend. Right? I mean, if you're somebody that is thinking that that's something that you need to do, is to be able to get more comfortable doing these kinds of things, then reach out to both of us. I've got a program that on Saturday mornings you could join me on. You can join Kylene here. We could do something even less scary and just jump on between ourselves. Right. So anyhow, I guess that's the point to me, Kylene, is understanding that yield sign is an indicator that maybe we need to break it down into something a little bit smaller, show up with our best foot forward, that kind of thing. So what have you kind of discovered about fear then?
I feel like it's a time for us to pause, like you said, yield, and just evaluate and realize, okay, what is my body trying to tell me? What is it that I'm imagining right now? Is it really realistic that this happens? And maybe it is realistic that you potentially wouldn't succeed, but guess what? You'll never know unless you try. So just like you said, breaking things down into small steps to continue to move forward, to poke at it a little bit, gain that confidence, survive the risk, and then keep moving forward. The biggest thing I think for me is, if there is something, it's to make sure the people that you have around you are supportive and are your cheerleaders. Those people are out there. Sometimes they're not your family. Sometimes it's not your friends. But guess what? When you start becoming aware of it, you're going to start attracting those people that are going to be your cheerleaders. You can find, like with OSG, we have the mastermind group, and we are each other's best cheerleaders and supporters. That's pretty awesome to have when you go for something bigger.
Yeah. Can I make one comment on that though?
Most definitely.
That you do have to be a little bit conscious and aware of, right, the difference between a cheerleader, a supporter, and a yes person, right? Just the straight rah-rah, right? Because sometimes what we need, this is to me, you obviously know, Kylene, and maybe some folks that are tuned in don't know this about me, but my second passion behind small business is to be part of the volleyball community, and being a coach is something that I'm very passionate about right now. And, one of the things that's important to me is that the young men that I get to coach understand that I'm their biggest cheerleader, but I'm also there to push them, to ask them to do more, to be a little bit better than they think they're capable of being. And I'm going to believe in them, but I'm not going to just let them, wither back down because they feel like they can't get there. So I think that's kind of the important thing to look for when you're trying to surround yourself with people is, are these people going to, like you said, be that cheerleader, be that positive support when I need it, but also be that person that's willing to say, hey, Aaron, time to suck it up a little bit, right? You need to do this, and here's why, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think that's true, because I guess those people, those just cheerleaders, that no matter what, they're they're just allowing you to stay in that comfort zone. And that was what I was going to say is, sometimes if we really truly aren't believing in ourselves and our abilities and believing it's safe to step outside that comfort zone, we'll start to look for that evidence out there to justify, that's right. We can find it. We can always create those stories in our head. I told my husband to stop being my yes person.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, right? Because
Yeah.
that's something that
But
he felt probably that he was helping you, right?
yeah, absolutely. Well, heck, I mean, Mo, that's so awesome and so empowering, by the way.
Yeah.
But Kylie, you and I have had conversations like that too, right? Like
Mhm.
you are so caring and so supportive. And I've, just said to you, I said, I certainly appreciate all that, but that's not what I need right now. Right?
Mhm.
I need something different. And
Mhm.
sometimes just being the yes person will be the comfortable thing, right? It is
Yep.
really easy to just do that, but yeah, and the same thing back the other way, right? There's been times where you're like, hey, I don't need a coach right now. I
Yeah.
need somebody to listen, and I go, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll try harder. I work in progress every day.
Yep. Well, we all are, and I think once you accept that we're we truly are not perfect people, and it's all part of the journey of life,
Yeah,
right? Can you
yeah,
continue to grow and
perfectly
learn and
imperfect. We're all
perfect?
perfectly
Yep.
imperfect, right?
Yeah. That's right. I love that one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So okay. So we've talked about what releasing the brakes can do for us, right? How powerful it can be. True. Yeah. We've talked about that and really what it is, and but how do we move past it? We've talked about breaking down into smaller steps, but we truly have to believe it to see it. And so, how do we really believe it to see it? There's some different ways that we can do that. Affirmations is huge. Erin, you're really good with affirmations, putting them together, but you're affirming that something's happening for you, what you want to happen. You're affirm that for your subconscious, and then being aware of the positive self-talk. But we can talk about that later. But do you want to talk about affirmations at all?
sure, sure. Yeah, I can't wait to hear your take on this because, like you said, I feel like I'm pretty good at creating them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not so sure. I still am quite a work in progress on being intentional on my side of it, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, the idea here is that we affirm something, which then will in turn start attracting the things that we need into our lives to actually make that happen. Our bodies are um, subconscious, right? It does not like that conflict between, if I'm saying with true belief that this thing has happened or is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? That our subconscious is like, okay, shoot, I better get out of stasis and get to work on that, right? And so really,
Mm-hmm.
that's the power of an affirmation is it gives us that opportunity to have an intentional statement. The language that we use in our internal voice is really
Mm-hmm.
important to us, and so an affirmation gives us that powerful statement that we can be intentional about sharing until we build up enough of a belief that we will actually achieve that. And it's all about that intention in my mind. So what about
Mm-hmm.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives clarity to what you're going for and what you're wanting. And you're telling your subconscious what that is. So your subconscious starts to believe, okay, this needs to happen. So when the opportunities arise out there in the world, you take action on it when they show up for you, and therefore you start to make that actually happen in your life. Um, some people like to call, we talked about this the other day, power, like a power message or something like that. And sometimes that's easier to wrap your head around.
Uh-huh.
But affirming what it is that you want is just so powerful. And then the other thing that you mentioned, with the positive self-talk, really truly being a coach for ourselves, and being aware of what we're telling ourselves. So not assuming the worst, not assuming, oh, no one wants to hear this, or not assuming I'm going to fail, or I'm going to look silly, or oh my gosh, can you believe I said that, or can you believe I look like that? Like all those things that go on in our head. Being aware of it and being conscious enough to say, this probably is not helping me move forward. And so trying to be conscious to replace that with positive self-talk, I think is huge.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm frantically trying to find something because I found this statistic that made this stand out for me, but now I can't find it again.
Is it the number of thoughts you have every day?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like
But
40,000, right? Or something?
yeah, I've just about got it. So here we go.
Okay. Okay.
No, that's not it. Darn
Okay.
it.
It's all right.
All right. Well, yeah, I think, like you said, it's probably 40,000, and some crazy percentage of those are negative thoughts, are negative statements. Like, like I said, are you like, I can't believe I did that. So stupid. Aaron, you idiot. Right. That those are the majority of our thoughts. And I mean, just think about that, right? If we can believe that there are two basic scenarios happening inside of us, our logic brain, our conscious brain, and then a subconscious, or that intuition, or that inner voice that, is separate, you're basically telling that inner voice that they're stupid. Right? And guess what that inner voice is going to start doing? If I every day showed up and, a couple hundred times a day told Kylene that she was stupid, right? Hopefully she'd get as far away from me as she can, but B, right, what would she begin to believe about herself? And so the affirmation is really just about changing that conversation.
Yep. And then the positive self-talk is building that trust with yourself, liking yourself, loving yourself, and knowing that you have these dreams for a reason. It's special to you. It would not be there if you were not supposed to continue to move forward towards it. It might look different when you get there, and on the journey, but you're still moving forward. And I think giving yourself some grace as you go through this process is really powerful.
Yeah.
Another way to really kind of help yourself release the brakes. So when these negative emotions show up, we've talked about this before on Thankful Thursday, but it's tapping, or emotional freedom technique. We tap 3 times a week on Zoom in the mornings. Anyone's welcome to join us. Just reach out to me. It's 6:30 in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But we do tapping. And what tapping is you tap on the energy points on your body, the main ones. And you tap on those points because that's the quickest pathway to your brain. And so you start with addressing the negative emotion. So maybe your negative emotion is, I have a fear of public speaking. And you tap about that emotion. You bring that to the conscious. And then as you continue to tap, you start replacing those negative statements with positive statements associated with that action or behavior or event, however you want to put it. And then it activates your subconscious and it calms your mind. It reduces stress. It reduces anxiety. All these powerful things come from just tapping like this. And you guide yourself through it. We use an app called the Tapping Solution, which has been really powerful. And there's probably hundreds of different topics that you could pick on there to tap about. So it's just another tool that you can access to help you when these emotions show up. As you know, Aaron, they're real. You can't hide it. They show up, and you can choose how you address it and move forward. And so when those feelings, yes, thank you. When those feelings are those negative emotions, feelings, however you want to put it, show up, that's a sign, hey, maybe I should tap on that. Maybe I should create more positive pathways to this. Maybe I need to calm myself down so I can show up my best self and have a clear mind moving forward.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to add about tapping?
Not about tapping, but I did finally find the research on those negative thoughts. Yeah. Sorry. You know me, sure. When I get stuck on something, I have to check the box. I have to get it.
That's all right. That's a strength.
Research shows that we talk to ourselves about 50,000 times per day. And in that same research, they showed that 80% of that was negative. So that means about 40,000 words show up for you each and every day that are not serving you. Okay. So wow.
Yeah.
That'll do it. So if you start just being intentional about replacing some of those 40,000
Mhm.
words, that's pretty impressive. All right.
Yeah.
Now I can move
Yeah.
beyond that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It is quite a powerful statistic because you realize how much control that subconscious can have over us. And so
Well,
let's give
and
ourselves a chance. And
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned, kind of surrounding yourself with the right people, the cheerleaders and stuff like that. Cindy said,
oh yeah,
a cheerleader can cheer, but they can boo too. Always stay on track. I love that. Um, but
that's
again, the same thing though, being very intentional about who you surround yourself with,
mhm,
right? So,
mhm.
um,
It's so powerful. And I'm sure, growing up, I know my parents were always, thankful. I always had a really positive group of friends that I was able to be around, and I was very fortunate. But there were always the people who aren't always the most uplifting, motivating, supportive, genuine. Um, and when we start having these negative self talk, our worth sometimes, our self worth can be impacted. And therefore, we're going to start putting out that energy to the world and start attracting more of that to us instead of what we really are desiring is more positive people back to us so we can continue to move forward and thrive and all that other good stuff that goes along with it.
yeah, yeah. And when talking about the people that you surround yourself with, Kylie, and this may sound a little harsh, so I know this is Kylene's Thankful Thursday, but you get harsh Aaron here too. But
Uh-oh,
today,
I'm ready.
um, but I mean, you've got to keep a list, right? If somebody that you spend a lot of time with, the first thing that comes out of their mouth when you re-engage a conversation with them is a complaint or blaming or some excuse, right? You need to tally that. You need to put a check mark next to have a list, right? Oh, Kylene, there's another. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it just again being very intentional about it, having some sort of a process that. For me, it's from time to time I'll go back through and think about the 5 people that I'm spending the most time with, and some people get a plus sign, some people get a minus sign, and we got to fill in more plus signs. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that for the most part we do have control over. Yes, maybe a family member could be a negative person, but we still get to control how we let their thoughts impact us
yeah,
and become aware of it
yeah,
as you move forward.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
like you said, even if it is a family member, I mean, either you have the difficult conversation with them and just say, hey, I can't do this, right? And so I'm going to have to spend less time with you. I love you very much, and I want nothing but the best for you. But if you can't
mhm.
figure out how to overcome these things, I mean, I love my dad to death, and I had to have that conversation with him. So, um,
Yep. And it's been really powerful for you
yeah,
and him.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, because I think sometimes we are unaware of that pattern of talk. In some ways, that negative self-talk and in some different communities, that's a bonding moment. It's how you
Yeah, yeah.
you
Well,
connect, and
exactly.
maybe that's not the community you want to be a part of if that's what their
Yeah.
connection point is.
Well, and what I also discovered was when you find yourself kind of attracted to that kind of thing, the commiserating, um, what's really happening is you are just jumping in line for your opportunity to say, well, I have it worse, right? To see if you can be the winner of the I have it
Yeah,
worse game.
yeah.
Um,
And I've been down that road. I mean, it's so easy to get pulled into that direction sometimes. So you really have to be aware of what it
yeah,
is that is important to you and what you want to attract and have in your life.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and and we are sharing this to empower everyone to bring that awareness so you get to make the choices that is best for you as you
yeah,
move forward.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
know I got you way off track, Kylie. I'm sorry. And
that's all right. Looks
uh,
like Wendy's here. Hey,
yeah, Wendy
Wendy.
made it, and she said, "So sad how we talk to ourselves." And
Mm-hmm.
you can
Go.
share that.
Oh, you want me to share this?
Sure.
You both are so positive and uplifting. I feel encouraged and supported when I talk to you both. Thank you. Same goes to you, though, Wendy, too.
Yes.
You are someone who can give really good feedback, and I appreciate that immensely.
Yeah. Agreed 100% with that. I'm trying not to take over your show, Kayleen. I'm sorry.
You should. You have fun. This is it's just in my mind, I look at Thankful Thursday as a platform to share gratitude and good things. But I love when, if you want to share, you share away. I could listen to you forever.
Well, I know you were talking about tapping and I got off track. Is there anything else there that
well, just with tapping, it is something that you can do wherever you're at. I could be sitting here if I'm feeling nervous, and I could just start tapping on my karate chop point here, right? Yes, thank you. Something like that. Someone just might think whatever, it doesn't matter what they think, but you're immediately starting to calm your nervous system, and therefore you get to show up in the way that is meaningful to you. You get to respond. The whole E+R=O happens, right? You get to show up, come back to your breath, clear mind, and then respond in a way that's going to give you the best outcome for that scenario. Tapping for me has been extremely powerful. It's something that I truly believe in. It took me a little bit to wrap my head around it because I didn't really understand how that's possible. And maybe I don't have to understand all of it. I just know how I feel when I start and how I feel when I'm done. And it's really powerful. I have tapped in the parking lot before an appointment, at my desk, wherever. Oh, I love that you shared that. Thank you. Yeah, it's something we can do. It doesn't require, I use the app because the app guides me, and I feel like the app is really powerful with all the different sections they have on there too. But you can actually go, now I'm drawing a blank and I feel horrible. The tapping guy.
Nick Ortner.
Well, Nick Ortner, yes.
Is there another guy?
Our friend.
Glenn?
Yes.
Glenn Kinderman?
Thank you. Yeah. You can go to people like Glenn, who is a wonderful man, and he can do specialized tapping for you. It's like a form of therapy, but it's individualized to you. So you can tap on specifically your needs, and he can go obviously a lot deeper with you as well with that type of
I'll
therapy.
find his info here, Kayleen. You're exactly right. That's a really good catch.
Glenn's an amazing person. And so that's just another way that you can really start to calm that nervous system, show up the way you want to show up so you can have that positive self-talk. Give yourself as much fuel as you can so you can step a little bit outside that comfort zone. That's what these tools are meant to do. And then it'll help you change your behavior. And I think that's, believe to succeed.co. Yeah. He's an amazing person. So reach out if you're curious about going a little bit deeper with tapping. So then all of that fuel that you have can really help you change that behavior and then allow you to get outside your comfort zone and release the brakes a little bit so you can find that success a little bit faster.
Okay.
Did you have anything else to add about releasing the brakes and how you can achieve that or do that in your life?
I know we've hit a lot. I guess if you wanted my closing thoughts, right? I just think that if you're thinking about this, right, you think about how do I get where I want to go? How can I get there faster? Really, I guess is what this becomes, right? Because that's really what's happening, right? You release the brakes, and here's the deal: once you release the brakes, think about it in that story about the car, right? Once you release the brake, you don't necessarily have to even push down on the gas any harder, right? You've just released the brakes, and that's going to start creating some forward momentum, right? So just release those brakes. But ultimately, the only way to release our brakes is to have that belief in ourselves. And I think the people that we surround ourselves, the people in this community, Kylene, and in the Our Success Group world, are also caring and concerned about making sure that they lift up other people and their communities. That we forget that, or we believe that if we believe in ourselves, that's arrogant, that's egotistical. But I think a lot of this boils down to being so, having such a belief in yourself that shines in such a way that others believe in themselves, and you're just kind of, it's like a magnetism, right? You're picking them up and you're carrying them with you. As you've grown into your self, right, and identifying as a yoga instructor and all this other stuff, it just, from the outside looking in, and I know I'm biased as your husband, but as a person from the outside looking in, the magnetism there is palpable. You can sense it, and therefore we all need to have that same thing. And so releasing the brakes to me is all about doing whatever it takes for you, whether that's tapping, whether that's affirmations, whether that's Qigong, whether that's, whatever it is, it's going to allow you to find that belief in yourself. Some people do want to just kind of push hard, a little bit harder. Okay, that's fine. Just understand that what you're trying to do there is you're growing your self-confidence. And because the other, I guess, finally, I will conclude my thought here, Kylene, because the other thing that I am aware of, that I don't know why it's so important to me, but for some reason it brings a lot of passion out in me, that I really don't like the whole fake it till you make it idea. And I don't know if, maybe I don't like it because I think I probably did that for a while, and it put me in a place where the imposter syndrome was massive and took so much work to get to. I still deal with that today. So we have to change that, right? Because you're not faking anything. Each day you're up, you're doing your thing, you're being you. You're never going to fake being you. You can't fake being you. So anyhow, I just am a big proponent of getting rid of that statement and saying you'll believe it until you achieve it. Right? Just believe as much as you can until you achieve it.
Yeah. I like that. That just made me think of, I remember in one of my trainings a long time ago, someone said, just do it ugly, so you're not faking it till you make it. You're just doing it the best you can in that moment. It may not be perfect, but at least you're doing it.
Yeah. And I get, the idea of fake it till you make it is to get people to take action. Yeah. But, you put that fake word in there, and then, what happens when you do achieve something? Yeah. Oh, well, I was just faking it though. So it wasn't really me. It was luck. It was some, right? No, the reality is
words are really important. The words that you use there.
Yeah, for sure. So it just sounded really cool, right? Fake it till you make it. But when you really start to think about it, it's actually a pretty negative statement. So
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's a good point. Good closing. I appreciate that. The other thing I want to talk about is to come back to gratitude. I have to throw that in because that's something that can also really put us in that positive state of mind. If you're feeling those negative images in your head and beliefs and thoughts, that can start attracting more of that to you. So coming back to gratitude so you can start attracting more good things. When you wrote, I am thankful for those that push me and encourage me to be brave. Oh, that's powerful. I like that.
Yeah. The word can I share my gratitude?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't, I have not gone on Volley yet. I'm being bad here, but I haven't gone on Volley. So if you do go to osg.link/Volley, you can join in on this daily gratitude thing. And so to me, here's my 5 for today. I'm grateful for my partnership with my good friend Terry Combs. I am very grateful for Lewis and the young man that he is. I am grateful for unconditional love. I'm grateful for abundance, and I am grateful to be continually gaining more clarity of my reason or purpose.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, if you guys go to that link on Volley, if you're not already there, it's just a really powerful place where you get to share what you're grateful for. And you get to hear what other people are grateful for in their life. And it creates this positive energy for you and for others. And being intentional about our thoughts is really powerful here. So osg.link/Volley is where you can go for that. So that is it for Thankful Thursday today. Erin, thank you so much for joining me today. You definitely bring releasing the brakes and all this mindset to another level, and I really appreciate you sharing today.
Can I drop a shameless plug here real quick?
Most definitely.
Okay. So I was not planning on having a Small Business Saturday this Saturday, but things worked out that I was going to be available, and I am going to have a special guest on Small Business Saturdays with me this Saturday. This beautiful young lady that I get to be on her program here. Kylene is going to join me on Saturday, and we are going to dig into how to clarify your reason, how to find your why. Mm-hmm. And Kylene and I had this really long, I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was a good conversation. I even got a little emotional, so that was good, right? I was processing something, and I had a revelation. So I hope that it's still in my brain and it still comes out well. And so I'd love for you guys to tune in all the same places that you're finding this program at. Just join us Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we will talk about that. I really want your feedback, and does it help you kind of uncover your reason, clarify, find your why, right? So
yeah, looking forward to it.
Is that right? Is that what you expected for Saturday too?
Yes, exactly what we talked about.
Okay.
No, I'm excited. And I hope it's helpful, because for me, it was quite the process. So I'm excited to share how powerful it can be once you do the work to really uncover it.
Yeah, love it.
Bring language to it.
Well, I'm going to get out of the way and let you close up here. So thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share all these things that I'm so passionate about.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I really learned some new things. Kathy wrote, "Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining." Hey, Cindy. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Great timing. Yeah. Success action plan, right? All of these are really cool tricks. And I hope, if anything, you can pull a few nuggets out of here and really help you in your life to just nudge and release the brakes and get outside your comfort zone and really live a life that's fulfilling and full of joy and happiness, and then come back to gratitude and appreciate the things that you do have. Use that and truly, genuinely appreciate what you do have, instead of focusing on what you don't. Create that positive energy for yourself, and then you can start attracting more of that good stuff to you, which then helps you propel forward and all that good stuff. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you again, Erin, for joining me. And if you guys can join us on Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time, please do so. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.